Hi, my name is Marisa Lopez, and I am your second grade math virtual content specialist. The purpose of this video is to help you as an educator understand and effectively implement the which one doesn't belong routine in your class. In the past, we have learned how to implement the which one doesn't belong routine using numbers and shapes. Today, we will be implementing it with tessellations. Let's begin. In the previous video, we learned that the which one doesn't belong routine is essentially a task that asks students to slow down and analyze a group of four images or numbers. Students must then identify which one of the items presented does not belong in the group. They must also have a rationale to justify their decision. Thus, this activity will not only support your students' analytical skills, being that they must explain their justification as to why they made their choice. The group of images or objects or numbers that are selected for this routine can be open-ended or can be tailored to fit your specific lesson. In this video, you will learn how to implement the which one doesn't belong routine using tessellations with your class. When learning to ride a bike, you've got to practice, practice, practice. I've said this before. The same is true with this routine. It is important to practice it often with your students, thus enhancing their analytical and conversational skills. Let's look at an example from today's lesson. There are four images of different tessellations that have been made using different shapes and colors. When introducing this routine, I recommend giving students 5 minutes to analyze the images. I usually ask my students to keep their thoughts in their thought bubble until the timer goes off. This gives all students ample time to analyze the images presented. I will give you 15 seconds to analyze these images and decide which one doesn't belong. All right, time's up. Did you say A doesn't belong because the other tessellations have yellow in them and A does not? Or maybe you said B doesn't belong because the other tessellations have blue and B does not. As you can see, there is more than one possible answer, and all of the answers are correct as long as the student can justify their response. Possible modifications for this routine include: I agree with you because, what do you notice? What makes all the items alike? What makes them different? Can you share your reasoning to justify your answer? All of these will encourage conversation among your students. Here's another question from today's lesson. Which one doesn't belong? Challenge yourself. Is there another one that doesn't belong, and why? Your students should respond. Another example that doesn't belong is letter blank because. You can set another 5-minute timer for students to try to see things a different way and pick another tessellation that does not belong. One possible student response that may be shared that was not shared in your previous slide is a student may say D because the other tessellations do not have white space between the shapes, or what we call negative space between the shapes. A student may also say C does not belong because it doesn't have any five-sided shapes like the other tessellations do. Let's try another example. As teachers, we need to practice these routines so that we can anticipate what some of the student responses will be. Look closely. I will give you 15 seconds to decide which one doesn't belong, and you must have your justification as to why you believe that. All right, time's up. Did you say B does not belong because the other tessellations do not have white space between the shapes? Did you say B does not belong because this tessellation repeats in a circular pattern, whereas the other tessellations repeat in a more linear fashion? Did you say D does not belong because the other tessellations have hexagons in them, but this tessellation does not? Awesome. Your eyes are becoming well trained in noticing similarities and differences between different types of tessellations. I hope this video has helped you understand the purpose and importance of implementing the which one doesn't belong routine in your class and has given you ideas to modify your instruction. Thanks for watching. Until next time.